Hello friends, and welcome to another video from my series Quick Thoughts On, in which I always talk about different stories from the rich Star Trek universe. 30 years and way too many weeks ago, the next episode of Star Trek The Next Generation premiered. It was called The High Ground, and these are my honest opinions about it. Well, in these days when many of us are in isolation, I think we need something funny to talk about, something nice and pleasant. So let's talk about this episode, which is about a funny, nice and pleasant thing called terrorism. Lucky for me, I am no longer monetized, otherwise I would have to find different words for describing the things taking place in this episode. Let me preface this with my personal feeling on this topic, without getting too political or anything like that. I hate violence. The only case in which I can accept violence is self-defense or the need to stop other violence. I don't care if you're a far-left lunatic who thinks that everybody who doesn't agree with you 100% is a Nazi and deserves to be destroyed. I don't care if you think that the cartoons depicting your prophet were offensive. I don't care if you think that your people deserve their land, their own land. I don't care if you believe that the world needs a revolution. I don't care if you think your God is better than any of the other gods other people believe in. I don't care about any of your possible motivations or excuses. I believe that you can think whatever you want. I even believe that you can say whatever you want, but as soon as you start to be violent against innocent people, in my opinion, you need to be stopped by any means necessary. There is no good reason for offensive violence. We are all different, we like different things, we believe in different things, but we must stop concentrating on things which divide us and start to think more about things which we all have in common. That's all I think I need to say without getting weirdly political. So, what's the story? The Enterprise has brought medical supplies to a planet called Russia 4. Their launch is interrupted with a bomb explosion, because on this planet a group of people uses terror to try to get their independence. Which means that these are the villains for me, even though the episode tries to kind of humanize them. Wrong, these are the villains and need to be destroyed. That's the main difference between my, let's call it, moral values and this episode. The writer tries to tell us that sometimes violence might be morally okay, to which I can only say, no, stop that crap. Data and Worf want to be back, but Dr. Crusher is a doctor and she starts helping the injured and being watched by the waiter. Suddenly another thing goes wrong. People with guns appear and one of them kidnaps Beverly. So this is the episode, trying to get Dr. Crusher back home. We watch multiple storylines at the same time. In one of them, Wesley Crusher with Data and Geordi are working on a method how to locate the terrorists. Riker works with the female police officer, and Dr. Crusher is helping the terrorists and their leader, Kirill Finn, who is of course a nice-looking man, because of course every terrorist is a good-looking fellow. He tries first to force her to eat, and the doctor first behaves like a normal human, meaning she refuses to cooperate at first. But later we see her melting, and a few scenes later she actively helps the wounded terrorists. The problem is that they have started to use some different technology, some dimensional shift, which makes them invisible to their sensors, but which is slowly killing them. Good, so the problem will solve itself, right? Wesley helps Data and Geordi with finding a way how to localize them, and Riker is pretending to be very moral, even though in reality he is being very stupid. He asks if the children which he sees to be arrested, if they are dangerous too. Of course they are, dummy. But the police lady tells him a story about how a bunch of children brought a bomb on a school bus, killing all of the other kids. It's kind of hard to imagine that there were times when Americans needed an explanation why terrorism is bad. But you can clearly see this was shot before 9/11. And thanks to these scenes, this police lady is the only character I like in this episode, and I don't even know her name. Shame on me. Meanwhile, Finn, the terrorist, starts bonding with Crusher, and she actually starts helping him healing his people. Not sure if that's really dumb from her or really noble of her. Probably both. She is helping a criminal, but she is helping him to save lives and not to commit any more of the crimes. Finn is actually a pretty good painter. He can draw her, and he's also pretty smart. He knows about the American history, and he sees himself as George Washington. And I guess these things are supposed to make us feel for him, which is, in my opinion, a bad thing. I do have a moral problem with humanizing terrorists. I absolutely do understand why are they doing this and what are they doing. I know that they are trying to show us that things are usually not simply black or white. I just have a problem with it in this specific case. Again, my opinion. Riker and police lady continue interrogating the arrested people. When they bring in the waiter from the cafe from the beginning, Riker takes command and tells him that the Federation wants Dr. Crusher back and sends him back to the terrorists, despite what the police lady thinks. Congratulations, Riker, you just took the work from the woman who knew what to do and decided to do it your way. I'm pretty sure this will end up pretty well, right? So the waiter runs directly to Finn, telling him that the Federation wants to negotiate. So what is Finn's reaction? He sends a bunch of people to the Enterprise, they set up a bomb on the reactor, and on the bridge they try to kill people, I think. But Picard attacks Finn, so when they teleport away, Finn has now 2 precious hostages. Bravo, Enterprise crew, bravo! At least Geordi is competent enough to beam the bomb away from the Enterprise, saving the ship and many lives. At least somebody is competent in this episode. So Picard now can talk to Beverly, at least talking some sense into her. She has a tendency to talk nicely about Finn, so Picard reminds her that she's talking positively about the man who just tried to kill her son, which is exactly the cold shower she needed to come to her senses. Finn beams on the ship to tell Deanna Troi his demands, and thanks to that our crew can find out the location of their base, and they beam down and surprise them. When Finn tries to shoot Picard and Troi, police lady shoots him, and Riker, instead of thanking her, starts to protest and ask her why did she kill him. The writer probably thought that this will make Riker look more sympathetic and more moral, but the only thing it makes him is dumb and a hypocrite, if you remember that a few episodes back he himself shot an unarmed woman. Actually, he vaporized her. Where were your morals back then? So, if this wasn't a good ending for you, we need one more ending. The kid with which Dr. Crusher was trying to bond takes a gun and threatens to shoot them all, but he changes his mind and lets them to arrest him. So, yes, maybe the violence ends when one boy refuses to pull the trigger. I guess that it was supposed to be an optimistic ending. Well, at least it was an ending. This episode is not for me. I don't like its naive look at a worldwide problem with terrorism. Its proposed ending to violence is brilliant. People just should stop shooting each other. Really great. I don't like the attempt at humanizing the terrorists, and there is even an awful line of dialogue where Data basically says that violence is sometimes okay. Don't get me wrong, it is important to show, in some cases, that your enemies are humans too, but it's a good thing in stories which depict, for example, war. In my worldview, there is a huge difference between a war and a bunch of criminals killing people who don't agree with them. I am absolutely fine with depicting the human side of the villains in, for example, as I said, war movies, but I have a pretty big problem when a writer wants to make me feel bad for a bunch of cold-blooded killers. And because I don't agree with this writer's opinion on these matters, it's pretty hard for me to enjoy this episode. But if you still enjoy it, good for you. I'm happy that you have much better time watching this than I did. But this is just not for me. I like the police lady, I like the scene in which Picard tells Beverly that she is talking positively about a man who tried to kill her son, and I like some of the action scenes, but that's it. Overall, on my standard scale from 0 to 10, where 0 is absolute garbage, 10 is a masterpiece, and 5 is just average, I would give this episode 3 out of 10. I don't like it, I don't like the message of it, and I don't plan to watch it anytime soon. Well, at least the next episode was much better. Deja Q brings us everybody's favorite bad boy, but that's a story for another video. Thank you very much for watching, and see you very soon. Bye.